We are monitoring all of our live cameras here in your NBC2 Alert Center. I want to go ahead and take you out live to the Sanibel Causeway, and you can see that the waves are splashing onto the Sanibel Causeway, and this is still very much a construction zone. This is still being rebuilt. I have been watching this feed for the last hour, and I've watched cars still going towards the island. This is not something you want to be doing. The camera has been shaking because we're starting to see really strong gusts of wind, but we do know that this has just been moving and rocking. Thankfully, I haven't seen any of the construction equipment move at all. It looks like everything is hunkered down, but definitely we're starting to see those water, that wave, that gulf get really angry and start crashing onto the causeway. So the conditions out there are still very dangerous, Kelly and Peter.
Yeah, keep that shot up for a second as we see a minivan decide to turn around, think better of it, because this is a great time to talk about the work that has been done on the causeway since Hurricane Ian washed away certain sections. They have not only added giant sections of boulders to fortify those sections, but they brought in gigantic plates. We're talking plates that are like 50 feet tall, and they're driving them into the ground to basically act as a mini seawall. So they have done a ton of work to make sure that what happened during Hurricane Ian with the causeway does not happen again. And we have no reason to believe that the Sanibel Causeway will wash away today, but the winds are extremely high, and they get higher the higher you go on a bridge. So it is a good idea to do what that car just did and turn around.
Yeah, we showed you some pictures earlier from the Sanibel Lighthouse beach, and the lighthouse is fine, but the beach had been renourished. The parking lot there, very popular place to go to the beach. It was washed out again, and the Gulf was pretty much in the parking lot, washing the parking lot out. And I have a feeling beaches, they've spent a lot of money renourishing beaches, bringing sand onto the beaches of Sanibel and Captiva.
Did that too.
Just finished them. Captiva as well. The live pictures that we're seeing there, much of the same thing.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to wake up tomorrow, and a good chunk of our cherished beaches is going to be washed back out.
Let's get out to NBC2's Dave Elias, who's on Sanibel Island for us. And Dave, what are you seeing? I know you've been touring a little bit, trying to assess the damage so far.
Yeah, so the winds have really picked up, and it's the heaviest we've seen. We just came across the Sanibel Causeway that you were talking about. My photographer, Mitch Gerke, still has white knuckles from holding onto that steering wheel, because I'm telling you, it was nerve-wracking. Right now, we are here at the Tarpon Bay Road Beach Park, and you can see water from the Gulf already up in here. We're talking now with Eric Jackson from Sanibel. Eric, they were talking a moment ago about the causeway, all of the work that is being done. I mean, obviously, no reason to believe that the causeway will be compromised in any way, but certainly water, we've already seen splashing up over the road.
Well, the causeway is reinforced for that very purpose because of storms like this. So that's why they've been working so hard since Ian to reestablish that, to fortify it, make it more resilient.
And let's talk about beach renourishment. As we kind of pan off, you can actually see the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of beach renourishment. Talk about how much has been spent, and is it doing its job?
It's absolutely doing its job. So over this last winter into the spring, $14 million was spent in the largest beach renourishment project on Sanibel. And it's for this reason, the same as I explained for the causeway, it's to make the island more resilient. So as you see the waves crashing into the beach and you're wondering what's happening to that sand, it's doing what it's supposed to do. You can imagine what the island would be like without that berm to help protect it. So it's a good thing that we put it in when we did, and we're watching it do its job.
And just to explain, because many people feel like, oh my gosh, all the sand is being lost, it's sitting out in the middle of the Gulf.
Well, yeah, the beach is very dynamic, so it's moving, and some of the sand will move in, some may move out to the near shore area, but it will settle in place. And anything that we need to do to clear sand from the parking lots, we can do when this is all over.
Now, we have not made our way up to Blind Pass. We have seen some video and pictures. It looks like that's an area you would want to avoid right now.
I would avoid driving really anywhere on Sanibel at this point. If you don't need to get out, don't do it. I mean, these are the heaviest gusts that we've seen all day. Blind Pass has had some water pushing sand over the road, and Public Works is out and clearing it when it's safe to do so to keep that passable. But please stay home and stay safe.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us. We, of course, are going to be out here throughout the afternoon, keeping a very close eye on things as these winds really start to whip up here. Live on Sanibel, I'm Dave Elias.
All right, Dave, thank you. We'll check back in with you in just a bit. Well, we are back with our coverage on NBC2 and ABC7. We're simulcasting, putting our teams together of journalists and meteorologists to bring you the most extensive, most complete coverage. We're going to get back out to NBC2's Dave Elias.
Yeah, he's been on Sanibel where the wind is getting pretty strong, Dave.
Well, the wind's really picking up here on Sanibel Island. Some roads already closed, and let me show you why. Here at Tarpon Bay Beach Road Park, you can see the water from the Gulf has already consumed the park area, and the restrooms now here underwater as the Gulf of Mexico is really churning up. The island, as you know, has spent millions of dollars in beach renourishment since Hurricane Ian. The big question now is, what will our beaches look like after Helene passes? On Sanibel Island, I'm Dave Elias. I have. You know, we're not seeing any rain right now, Peter, but it is the heavy wind, and I am underneath the toll station here onto the Sanibel Causeway, and you know, at this time it would normally be packed with cars. We have seen a few, just like this automobile coming through, but look at the water from the Gulf that is pounding up over onto the highway, soaking the road, and cars that are driving by there at times are getting completely drenched, almost like being inside a car wash, if you will. But again, just driving across the causeway, as we have done a couple of times now, it is extremely windy. You're going to have both hands on that wheel, and you're really going to be able to feel the car rocking if you're driving across any of the bridges right now. As far as the causeway, you remember part of it was destroyed during Hurricane Ian, and it has been basically a road project ever since. Now, city officials say that the road is strong, it is fine. There are parts where water is rushing up, but again, there's been a lot of steel used, a lot of reinforcement, and they believe that the causeway will be just fine in this big wind event that we're seeing right now. We, of course, will be here throughout the day and continue to bring you live updates. On the Sanibel Causeway toll area, I'm Dave Elias. Well, if you have ever traveled through the Sanibel Causeway toll area, you know that normally this area would be packed with traffic, but we're seeing next to no traffic along the road right now. And look at it, it's because the Gulf of Mexico is angry and water splashing up onto the road, hitting vehicles that are actually traveling through this section of road. Again, things are fine here, but they are advising not to travel across the causeway if you don't have to. And again, it is a difficult experience. If you've got a small car, you can really feel that wind whipping you as you're trying to get across. Along the Sanibel Causeway, I'm Dave Elias.
Welcome back. We want to focus on Fort Myers for a second, where there has been pretty significant flooding downtown. We have NBC2's Dave Elias live with the mayor of Fort Myers, Kevin Anderson. Dave, any sense of whether the water is still rising or if it's stalled out?
So, yes, we believe the water is still rising. And just take a look behind me. This is the new Bruno's of Brooklyn, and the water is getting really close to the doors there. We are here at the intersection of 1st and Dean Street. We are joined live with Mayor Kevin Anderson. Mayor, we've been down this road before. Bay Street, we know, is much worse. Are you concerned that this is going to get worse before it gets better?
Unfortunately, I believe we're going to see more water within the next 2.5 hours before the river actually peaks, and then hopefully the water will recede.
And let me ask you, just looking around here, how much damage do you think there has been so far as a resident of downtown?
It doesn't appear that there's a lot of damage as of yet, but as the water rises, yeah, we're probably going to have some damage.
And let me just ask you, there are a lot of people down here walking in the water. I mean, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, that water is just filthy. It's contaminated with who knows what, and it's probably not the healthiest thing to be doing.
A lot of streets are closed. People are going to have to take alternate routes if they're down here.
They shouldn't be out, period. But yeah, some of these roads are impassable.
And again, if you just take a look around here, the water is continuing to rise here in the downtown. A lot of people coming by, walking through the water, not advised right now. The best thing to do is just stay indoors. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And, my thoughts or prayers are out there with everybody who's going to be affected by the water.
Thank you so much. And we, of course, will remain here downtown, keeping a very close eye on things. For now, live in downtown Fort Myers, Dave Elias, NBC2. Mayor, there's some concern with businesses. Talk about Bruno's of Brooklyn. The water's so close.
Just inches away. I'm praying not just for Bruno's, but everybody that the river doesn't rise anymore. If it doesn't, we're good. It's being a little bit too optimistic on my part, but nonetheless, that's what I'm hoping for.
Taking a look at Bay Street, we know most of that street back there is shut down. Are you concerned for some businesses back there?
Yes, because as I said, if the water continues to rise, there's going to be intrusion. These are a lot of businesses who are just getting back from Hurricane Ian, and it's just sad.
At what point do you think you'll be out of the woods? Like, at what time does the river stop?
I'm hoping that by midnight, not much past midnight, we'll start to see the waters go down.
Perfect. The city's going to get through this, right? I mean, it seems like we've been through this a lot lately.
Look how we bounced back from Hurricane Ian, which was much more devastating. So we will bounce back from this as well.
Yeah, actually they have. I am here at the intersection of Dean and First Street, and the water continues to come up, and we are taking a close look here at Bruno's of Brooklyn. You can see that the water now has started to make it up to about the door or the entrance of the building. They have been working on this facility. I am told that they were just about a month away from opening up. And now it appears as though water is making its way into this building. And if we take a look a little bit further down Dean Street, you can see this has been going on all evening. People actually walking through the murky waters here. The mayor advising against it. This young lady, as we can see, coming up. But we've seen people down toward that stop sign where the water was literally up to their waist. That is Bay Street. Bay Street is completely under water tonight. The mayor telling me that he expects the waters here to continue to rise up until about midnight. I've been talking with some business owners who have been down here keeping a close eye on things, and they are all hoping these waters will recede before the water makes it into their business. We, of course, will be here throughout the night keeping you updated. Live in downtown Fort Myers, Dave Elias, NBC2.
Welcome back. We've been checking in on all of the areas in Southwest Florida that have been dealing with storm surge, and we know the water's been rising in downtown Fort Myers.
Yeah, we want to get another look out there with Dave Elias. We saw that water creeping into some businesses, it seems. Dave, looks like that water's still pretty high.
Yes, it is still high, and it continues to rise. And I have been talking with business owners all night who say they just didn't expect to see this again. Take a look at these high waters. You can see Bruno's of Brooklyn. We have been watching very closely. The water now up to their doors. We were told that they are just over a month away from opening their doors, so we don't know what impact this is going to have on them. Now, this is the intersection of First and Dean Street. If you look a little bit further down Dean Street, you'll see that stop sign. I mean, we saw people waiting there with water up to their waist. And again, that is Bay Street down there, and pretty much all of Bay Street tonight is completely underwater and has been for several hours. The mayor of Fort Myers told me that he was hoping we would start to see the waters recede sometime after midnight. That, of course, remains to be seen, but we, of course, will be keeping a very close eye on things, and we're hoping for the best for many businesses who were still trying to come back after after Hurricane Ian just 2 years ago. We're live in downtown Fort Myers. Reporting, I'm Dave Elias.